Hi, welcome to our project number 8 in Visual Basic. In this project, we're going to be introducing you to message boxes. Message boxes in this program will be triggered with an if statement. They're quite easy. There's 4 parts to a message box, and we'll go over each part. So far, our interface to our application or our piece of software has a form, a label that just has basically the duplicate label of the form title, a combo box with a text that says select a city. Once you trigger that combo box, there'll be actually 5 cities you're going to load in here. We have 3 buttons. The first button on the left is help. This will provide the user with some help criteria if the user doesn't know how to use the actual application. Clear will clear the combo box back to select a city, and close will close the whole program down. So let's get started programming this and kind of going over some of the new code we're going to learn about message boxes. In the last project, project number 7, we did some cosmetic changes, and I wanted to just quickly review how to do that because we didn't really make that clear in the last project. So let's make this a little bit look a little bit nicer. So I always like sometimes a larger label. It says City Review here. So many of you that didn't get it in the last project, when you select City Review, you can go under Properties and select Font. And if you select Font here, there's a box here, or there's a little arrow on the left of Font that triggers some other things you can change. So I'm going to make that font a little bit larger. Right now it's 8.25, but I'm going to make it about 10. Let's make it 11. I'll make it bold. And I can even change the font type here as well. Feel free to change the color as well. This is color, text color. Let's center that. Also with help, you feel free to go ahead and change those sizes as well. I'm going to make it change it to 10 so they turn out a little bit better. And I'll do the close one as well. There you go. So help, clear, and close. Now the other thing we did on the form, we added a picture. So why don't we go ahead and play around with the picture as well. So under here it says there's an option that says background image. If you select that and select that little square on the right side of the property window for background image, it's set to project resource file, but we're going to select local resource file and go import. And I'm just going to pick any generic picture that I have in my pictures folder. Let's go with something, just a generic background. Here we go, this one. Hit OK. So here it is. There's very similar to the last one, I guess. And if you want to make that background a little bit come in a little bit better, you just go to not for color. I think back color. I believe if you make it transparent. So back color transparent. So you go under web and select transparent. Now I don't like the text color, so I'm going to go to for color for the text and change that to white so you can see it. So there you go. Now it looks nice. It has a different color, but feel free. It's not mandatory. That's just more on the looks. Now let's start coding. Here's the message box code. So let's let's click on the actual combo box and add 5 cities to your list items. So we're going to select combo box, go into the item list in the property. So select items. And then let's click that box and add a list of 5 cities. So let's go with Vancouver, Surrey, Richmond, Langley, and Burnaby. I believe so. Okay. There's our 5 cities, and hit OK. I'll just show you how to do the code the first one. You can finish the rest off on your own. So we've added the list. Let's quickly run our program just to see if the list shows up. It's compiling, so here's our program now. It says select a city, city review, and Vancouver, Surrey, Richmond, Langley, Burnaby. They all show up in our list. Let's select Vancouver. Nothing happens, and nothing happens here as well because we haven't programmed anything. So let's go ahead and start programming. The first line of code that we're learning about today is message boxes. So this is how a message box is going to work. We're going to use if statements. So we're going to say if combo box 1 dot text. So if this text equals Vancouver, then message box and then we'll type the rest out. So let's double click on this and start typing our code in. So here it is, if combo box 1.text equals Vancouver, and you have to spell it exactly the same way. So if you made a spelling mistake in the first item, you have to go and correct that and make sure it's all spelled exactly, not with the quotations. So don't add quotations in your list item. They have to add them when you actually add the code. So there has to be quotations around this right now when you're coding. So if it equals Vancouver, then MSG box bracket, and this is where you have to follow along carefully here. So then message box bracket, I'll write Vancouver is a beautiful city, end quotation. So our first part was MSG box, and now the second part is in the bracket. Vancouver is a beautiful city, comma, let's add our second or third part of this is MSG box style dot. We'll select, and then it gives us we'll go select information. Oops, and I'm gonna scroll this over so you can see it all being written out. I'll come back to it later. Message box information, and the last part is the form title, Vancouver. This is what will show up on the box. So let's test that out. We've just written one line, and that's basically the same line you're going to write. So I'm just going to go over the message box part here before we test it. So there's 4 main parts. When you actually see the message box, this will actually create a message box for you, a little pop-up window. The pop-up window will have a message in it, so the second part will be the message, okay, in quotations, comma. The third part is a graphic that appears right beside the message. So this could be a critical information, so this might be just an exclamation mark, or it could be a question mark, or whatever is preloaded into Windows or Visual Basic here. Next thing is a comma, and then this will be the actual title of the message box, similar to a form title. So let's test this out. Hit run. And let's select Vancouver, and you're going to see the message box pop up. And then you heard that noise as well. So here's your message box. So it says Vancouver. Let's move this down here. So this is the fourth part, Vancouver. This is the third part that says message box information. Vancouver is a beautiful city is the second part. And the first part is the overall message box. So when you hit OK, it closes. Let's close this again. So that, just to review, the code looks like this. If combo box 1.text equals Vancouver, which is in our list item, then message box, or MSG box, bracket, in quotation marks, the message, Vancouver is a beautiful city, end quotation, comma, third part being the graphic, the little explanation mark you saw in blue, message box style dot information. And you'll see a list of different ones. So if I got rid of information and I want to try a different one, let's say exclamation mark. Sorry, I hit enter by accident. Now we're changing it from information to explanation, and this is still Vancouver. When I hit run, the graphic will change. So when I select Vancouver now, it changes to this. Okay. Now, so you finish off the rest of the code. You can copy and paste that line and just change the city, the message, and the different graphics. Play around with the different graphics for this, just because we're learning. Try 5 different or 4 different pieces of or different graphics, okay? And make sure everything matches. So if this is Vancouver, I'm selecting, make sure the title says Vancouver here as well. Let's quickly code the other button. So the help button is going to be very similar. Clear. So let's quickly code that. So basically, you can select basically write the code, the message box code here. There's no if statement here because it's a click function. You just write MSG box. Actually, we'll just copy and paste it just to save some time. Copy. And if I just paste this here and then change everything here, I'll change the message to say, please select a city from the drop down box. Okay, and then I'll write here help window. And then here I'll go with information because that is the standard. Let's double check if that's even loaded. Yeah, there we go. And now when we try this, let's try the help. Hit help, and then here's our help box. Help, please select a city from the drop-down box. Hit OK. That gives the user now some information on how to use this. Because a lot of times we design applications, but we just assume that the person's going to know what they're doing. So you want to maybe give more instructions or less instructions or whatever you want to do in your application. Now let's quickly, the clear button is quite easy. You've done this many times. We can quickly do it in this tutorial. So I won't spend too much time on this, so double click, and then you just want to write combo box 1 dot text, and you can actually return it back to select a city. So this will just put select a city in there, but you can write anything in here. So if you want to write, I am great, this will, when you click clear, it'll show up I am great in the combo box text. But obviously our application, we want to write select a city because that's what's originally there. So if we go back to form 1 here and then do close, close is easy. Me, capital M, me dot close. And that is basically the code for this application. So go test that out. Remember, do finish off the code, do all 5 cities. Keep the comments nice, I guess. And then we'll check them later. Okay, good luck. Hopefully you enjoy.